An extreme winter storm is unfolding right now, and conditions are rapidly deteriorating. Snow and ice are already ramping up, and what's coming next is extreme, with up to 2 feet of snow and more than 1 inch of destructive ice as this system intensifies. What makes this storm so incredibly dangerous is not just the size, but it's the overlap of the heavy snow and crippling ice happening at the same time, stretching from Texas to the East Coast. Impacts will persist for days, creating increasingly hazardous travel, power outages, and infrastructure damage across the southern half of the country. States of emergencies have already been issued in states like Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Delaware, as officials brace for impacts that could last weeks or even months in the hardest hit areas. So in today's forecast, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about the big updates that have happened with this winter storm. So over the next several hours, we are going to continue to see heavy freezing rain impacting areas like northern Mississippi, northwest Alabama near Florence. Freezing rain is going to eventually transition for those over in Nashville. So if you're in Nashville, again, a lot of you guys are seeing snow still, but eventually by later this afternoon and into the evening, we'll have freezing rain and sleet moving to the north. So most areas across Tennessee will be dealing with freezing rain and sleet by this evening. Freezing rain will continue back into areas like North Texas, northern Louisiana, central Arkansas. It's going to be mostly scattered though if you're back over here in central Arkansas. It's not going to be very heavy, but eventually by tonight is when things get a lot more widespread. So right around 10 o'clock tonight, we'll have a widespread area of snow stretching from Virginia back into the Texas Panhandle. Oklahoma City will eventually be dealing with upwards of 3 inches of snow per hour from these snow bands, as it'll be very intense and heavy snow by this point. We'll also have some light to moderate snow impacting areas like Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and northern Kentucky. And then overnight tonight into tomorrow morning is when the most intense freezing rain is going to happen. All right, so if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, if you're over in Lufkin, Texas, if you are in Shreveport, those are the areas that are going to be getting hit hard by freezing rain. And this is where we're anticipating scattered, numerous, and even in some cases, widespread power outages that could last days, maybe even a week. And in rare cases, if we see over 1 inch of ice accumulation, it could last for as long as a month. So as we go into Sunday morning, we will continue to have a widespread area of snow stretching from Maryland, including Washington, D.C., all throughout Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana. Areas like Indianapolis and Columbus are likely going to end up seeing over 8 inches of snowfall just tomorrow from this winter storm. Back over towards St. Louis, back through Springfield, Missouri, we are expecting a widespread area of snow all throughout tomorrow morning. Areas like Dallas, Fort Worth will be transitioning from freezing rain and sleet into a heavier snow. It's not going to last a very long period of time, but there will at least be some light snow out there. And then eventually, as we go later into Sunday morning, areas like Houston, Texas will transition into freezing rain. And the freezing rain back down near Lufkin and Nacogdoches, Texas, that's going to be pretty long lasting. I think we're going to end up seeing around 1/4 of an inch of ice for some of those locations. And even down into central Louisiana near Alexandria, we could end up seeing some ice storm conditions transpire back over in those areas during the morning hours on Sunday. All across central and northern Mississippi, we will be dealing with a large area of freezing rain that will lead to some pretty significant ice accumulation. Sunday afternoon is where things are going to be very significant if you're in the Ohio Valley or Mid-Atlantic, as a widespread swath of snow will be all around southern New England, including the New York City area, State College, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Sleet is going to start to transition from the snow that we're going to be seeing in areas like Maryland, including Washington, D.C. and Delaware. And then eventually, as we go into Sunday afternoon, that freezing line is going to continue to lift to the north, which will translate to areas like Washington, D.C., going from a snow to a sleet and then eventually a freezing rain. So we are expecting the threat of around 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice in some of those locations. Areas like the Carolinas, including upstate South Carolina, will have pockets of heavy freezing rain, which means significant ice accumulation is expected, not just tonight, but also tomorrow, which will lead to some isolated to scattered power outages. Heavy snow will continue Sunday afternoon and evening across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and southern New England, where we are anticipating a widespread 1 foot of snowfall, with some locations over 18 inches of snowfall being possible. And then as we go into late Sunday night and early Monday morning, most of the snow is moving out of New England. It'll be very light across central and southern New England for Monday.